Welcome to the Simply Real Life podcast. I'm Sarah, the founder of Simply Real Health, here to help you simplify, amplify, and elevate your life. This show is for those of you who want the real talk on how to live a more intuitive and intentional life, a life that's healthy from the inside out, and one that feels more effortless, aligned, simple, and more alive. We cover it all, from health, wellness, mindset, motherhood, daily habits and rituals, to business and relationships, creativity and growth, and tiny tricks to feeling your best, and the energetics behind it all filled with personal stories, unfiltered conversations, and of course, answering all of your burning questions, all in the way of simplicity and keeping it real, so that you can create your own version of your healthiest life. Let's do it. Hi guys, welcome back to the show this week. I hope that your start to the holiday season has been smooth and hopefully relaxed. And I'm even smiling as I say that because it is definitely a time of year where there is a lot going on. It's fun stuff, like it's exciting, it's nostalgic, such a fun time of year, but it can also be one that feels more full than usual. So it is a time that I find most people not necessarily struggle, but a lot of people have a trickier time navigating this time of year through the holiday season while also trying to still be healthy. And it's a question that I do get a lot. And it's one of those things where I'm like, it's not just here's three things. It's a little bit nuanced, I think, in terms of how we're thinking about moving through times in our life, whether it's the holiday season or honestly any other time of year that you feel like is extra busy or extra full, or there's a lot going on, or maybe you're in the middle of a big transition in your family or in your life or in your work or in any big part of your life. There are always times in the year, some of them we can predict and some of them we can't, where things just feel a little bit more compressed, like our time and energy and resources are being diverted to a lot of different things at the same time. And oftentimes the first thing to go out the window, from what I've seen, is people's health and our routines and taking care of ourselves. That sometimes gets put last on the list while everything else around it kind of swarms in and feels like it can take over. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that I have found the most helpful to keep myself steady and keep myself consistent and continuing to show up for myself, not in big, elaborate ways, because that is the season of life I'm in right now with 3 young kids. But the things that we do and the ways that we show up for ourselves in small, tiny ways make such a deep impact because it correlates to who we show up as. Our identity is like, I am a person who takes care of myself no matter what. I am a person who moves my body, who drinks water, who eats vegetables, no matter what's going on my day. And moving to the place where you take care of yourself and you take care of your health because it's part of your identity, versus it being a chore, versus it being a thing you feel like you should do or have to do, and that it's not really a priority. In other words, other things always get first place. And then if there's any extra time or energy left over, then you take care of your health. You know what I mean? And I think that's really how most of the world works. If it's convenient, if there's extra time, if it feels like there's extra space for it, then we do take care of ourselves and we are eating good, real food and we are cooking a little bit more at home. We're just thinking about quality of food. We're getting good sleep at night. It's like we're either all in or we're all out. And I think that's part of the problem. And it's a problem that gets exaggerated this time of year or in times of life when we are very busy, where that strategy no longer works, of being very all or nothing, being very perfectionistic about you're all in on your health, you're doing things perfectly, you're eating perfectly, you're prepping every meal, you're drinking lots of water, you're going out for walks or getting fresh air. It's like we're either all in or we're completely off. And I find that people who are able to see that they do this, this is like a very natural human instinct, by the way, to be all or nothing. And if it's not perfect, then what's the point of doing anything? But that mentality, I find, is usually at the core of people who really do struggle with taking care of themselves on a small, daily, consistent level. And so a lot of this starts with first slaying this mindset that all or nothing is the way to go, because it really does block you from feeling really good in your life, from having good energy, from getting good sleep, from feeling like you have enough vitality to get through your days. And I find that in busier seasons, the default can usually be, I don't have time for that because everything else comes first. Whereas if you flip that, and if you think I'm going to prioritize these small ways of nourishing myself and keeping myself steady and stable and grounded and nourished physically, mentally, and emotionally, if you switch that to put those things first, you actually end up with more energy and more capacity and more time to handle and do all of the things that are happening around you. So this time of year, here are things to think about. One is thinking about keeping the quality of your food really good. Not perfect, but as good as possible. Fresh food, whole food, real food. Just make sure you look at your ingredients. It's nothing crazy, and it's not about being super rigid, but for the most part, are you eating nutrient-dense food? Food that is going to give your body nutrients it needs so that it can run, so it can have a great immune system, that you can have great energy, that you can have great digestion, that it's a life-giving force in your life? Or is your food, and think about this time of year, is your food a life-draining force? Is the stuff you're putting in taking and requiring so much more of your body to digest, to process, to detox from? Or is the food you're putting in an actual life-giving force that's going to give you something instead of take it away? And again, this is not about being perfect by any means. There's no such thing as eating perfectly. I am a huge believer of having things you love and having a great relationship to food where you can love and enjoy and have sweets and drinks and whatever you love. It's not about staying away. Again, it goes back to that all or nothing mentality, but it's about, can you at least upgrade the ingredients? Can you be more intentional about when you're having certain things that are maybe not super nutrient dense, but the energetic and emotional nourishment that it's giving you, that counts too. So like maybe a glass of wine or a really great holiday cookie or a fun coffee order, whatever it may be. Just do a quick check-in with yourself. Am I having this thing because it's around? And this time of year, there's so much extra sweets, extra treats, extra social events where you may be like, oh, everybody else is doing it, or here it is, so I might as well eat it, or it's out, or it's available. There's just so many more opportunities this time of year that you really do have to quiet all of the noise and the commotion and check in with yourself before you automatically put something in your mouth. Is this something that I love? Is this nourishing to me in some way? Is it nourishing physically? Like it's healthy food, real food. It's giving me energy. I feel really good about this high quality food. Or is it something that I just find delight and joy in? That also counts as nourishment. But I bet you will find that there are going to be so many times and occasions where you might be reaching for something or automatically ordering something just because somebody else does, or picking up a cocktail or a glass of wine because others are. And if you actually check in with yourself of seeing like, is this moment the right moment? I always think about ambiance and the people I'm with and where is my body at? Is my nervous system already stressed and I'm grabbing at this thing to take the edge off or feel like I need to chill out? Or am I already relaxed? And having this thing helps me just be more in my body. Can I love every sip? Can I love every bite of this and be more present in my body? Then those things are always worth it. Always worth it. This is something I talk about a lot in Simply Real Life, the method, where it's like, it's not about not having those things. It's about being intentional with them. It's about, is it worth it to you? Is it something you love? Is it something you delight in? Does it bring you joy? Does it bring you nourishment on some level, even if it's not on the physical food side of things? You can have a very healthy experience with food, even if it's not necessarily a health food or healthy food. So that would be the thing to be looking out for. Like, yes, for the most part, 90% of the time, really good ingredients, really good quality of what you're having. And that goes for things like baked goods and all of the fun holiday stuff. Is there a way to do that in a more real way? Can you upgrade the ingredients? Something even like hot chocolate. Hot chocolate from a packet, when you look at the ingredients, is very different than heating up milk of your choice and using cocoa powder and little maple syrup. I mean, it is delightful. Like the real food version of things is so good. It's like the more gourmet, the more foodie version. Like make it a full experience if you're going to have it. That's a very different experience. And your body will digest something like hot chocolate made with real ingredients over maybe going through the drive-through, or maybe you're drinking more alcohol. You feel like you need more stimulants. You can go for that gingerbread latte, whatever it may be. No shade on that. But are there things that you do love and enjoy? And if you do, can you upgrade the ingredients? And it's one of the reasons why in the cooking club, I have like a full section of holiday recipes, because yes, make the Christmas cookies. Can we make them with real food ingredients? Like make the pies or the cookies, the baked goods, fun holiday drinks, but there's a way to do it where it's not putting stuff in your body that takes so much more time and effort and energy for your body to figure out what to do with. It's about being kinder ultimately to your body, being a better partner to your body, and knowing that you are worth the good stuff. If you're going to enjoy it, fully enjoy it and make it the best possible version of that thing versus you just taking whatever's there. And I think that's a huge, huge thing any time of year. But checking in with yourself, there's going to be a lot of food out there and a lot of options and a lot of things that are ultimately just clutter, that they don't actually mean anything to you and you don't actually care about it. And maybe other people do, or you're doing it because others are. So just keeping your antennas up around this time of year and slowing down enough to check in with yourself, enough to get a pulse as to where your body's at. When you feel you're in the state of joy or relaxation already, and then you go to have something that maybe doesn't have perfect ingredients, you will digest it better than if you're eating perfectly all the time, but your nervous system is on overdrive and you're running on adrenaline and you have cortisol pumping through your body. There's always this energetic component with our nervous system and the state of where we are. And are we on the edge all the time? Can we learn to calm our nervous system down before enjoying things, to be actually more present with where we are and who we're with and what's going on in that moment? This is such a great season to be practicing that and to be quieting some of that noise and the commotion and go inwards, to practice even checking in with yourself, practice slowing down, practice taking a breath, practice asking yourself, how am I today? What do I need? Is this something that's going to serve me, or is this something that's going to take me down a notch? Another thing that I find really helpful in the holiday season, but also all the time, is having non-negotiables. And those of you who have been in my world for a while know that this is such a huge part of what I teach, in that you show up for yourself in small ways that matter daily. It's showing up for the things that do move the needle the most, but actually take the least amount of time. So the things that make the biggest difference are the little dominoes of once you do, and they're small, it's like 2 or 3 things, but you do them every day, no matter what, no matter where you are, no matter what your schedule's like, no matter what's going on, no matter what things get thrown in your way, you know that you can find a way to at least take care of the very basic foundational needs that your body has, so that your body can produce enough energy. It can produce enough steadiness in your nervous system to hold you no matter what you are managing in your head or in your day or with your kids or with your family. Thinking about things like, what are your non-negotiables? Those things that you make a conscious effort every day to do and to show up for yourself. Mine are drinking enough water every day, getting some type of fresh air. Usually that's hopefully paired with movement outside, even if it's like a 10-minute walk, like some type of way I'm moving my body, and eating veggies every day. I find if I focus on those 3 things, again, no matter what's going on, if we're traveling, if we're on a plane, if I'm in a different city, if my kids are sick, if things with work just spiral out of control, like those things I make an active effort for. And in giving this advice to so many clients over the years, they're like, this has made such a huge difference. Not looking at all the things that you could be doing perfectly or that need to be done more, but like, can you show up for yourself in little tiny ways? And those are the things that changes the momentum, and it changes your identity of yourself. Like, I am a person who does this. I am a person who can figure out how to get vegetables in my life, even when everything else feels like stuff's hitting the fan. That commitment to yourself and that way of really taking care of yourself adds up more than any of the big extremes ever will. Something else I feel like this time of year is, again, this perfection mentality, the all or nothing mentality really can get in the way. Like, oh, I missed my workout because there's other things going on, so therefore I have to wait till the next time I can get a full one in, instead of saying, all right, I've got 5 minutes. I'm going to go on a walk for 5 minutes, and that counts. So just being aware of where your mind goes, of telling you these stories that it doesn't count unless it has to be 15 minutes or it has to be at least 20 minutes for it to count. Like, count for what? Any time that you are investing intentionally in your health, in your mindset, in your body, it comes back to you tenfold. So even 5 minutes to walk around the block will reset your mind. It resets your body. It resets your lungs. It resets your energy. It is always worth it. So don't let the stories in your head tell you otherwise. Same thing goes for like, oh, I don't have the time to cook full meals from scratch. That doesn't mean that you can't eat healthy. It doesn't mean you can't eat well. I know many people who do not cook at all, but they eat very well because they're intentional about finding, sourcing, and making a plan for themselves. Beginning of the day or the day before, they at least know where they can go, what they can pick up, where they can order from, so that it's not this constant conversation of, I'm short on time, therefore I can't take care of myself. So just being aware, I think, of a lot of that mental talk and the chatter that goes in our head, and catching yourself in these stories that are not actually true, that there are different ways to approach it, different ways to think about it. I find that that really, really adds up over time. Something else to think about, just having healthier holidays overall, is looking at your schedule. Look at your social stuff. There's oftentimes a lot more things going on, whether it's with your kids, through school or family or traditions or different things that you're nostalgic about. Like, just look at things on the whole right now. And is there anything that you would like to change? Are there any traditions that you would like to change or modify or upgrade or do in a slightly different way? I think a lot of times this time of year has so much memory to it, and so much can be weighted on traditions always looking and feeling the same. But having the freedom to adjust, like whether it's the ingredients on some of your favorite things this time of year, or maybe it's adjusting a tradition that feels like it's not really working for you anymore, or you have so much anxiety or stress that comes from it, or that there are certain people or family typically maybe drain your energy more than they give it. And are there ways that you can change the scenario, change the setup, change things so that it would actually feel so much better, so that our calendars are not full of things that feel draining of our energy, and rather things that really do feel like they are giving us energy, or that are happy, joyful, that we look forward to, or that we know, okay, we can navigate this with some prep, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, like some prepping of our own energy, of our own emotions, of our own way of feeling through things and how we handle things. But just looking at your schedule overall, are there things you need to change? Are there things you could delete completely or take off? Like, how good would that feel? Looking at traditions, anything you want to modify, anything you want to upgrade or change or propose a new way to do things. Anything that is a source of stress, I think is worth looking at. Or you may feel great. I love this time of year. There's so many fun things going on. There's also this funny tendency for, even when it's fun things going on, that we create this sense of stress no matter what. So checking yourself too. No, these are actually things that are fun, that are enjoyable. I'm just being stressy about it. I'm just bringing my anxiety into it. I don't know why. It's a very natural way that we're wired. I think the more we have on our plate, sometimes it makes us feel that way. And so it's reminding your own body and your brain, like, no, I'm actually opting into these things. I actually want to be doing these things. They're actually fun, but my brain is so in overdrive right now. And it's convincing me that all these fun things are making me feel panicky. So just something, I find like I notice that in myself sometimes. I'm like, wait, this is actually what I want to be doing. This is actually what I would choose to be doing. So why do I feel my nervous system on overdrive right now? So a lot of times it's just the voices in my head and the stories I'm telling myself around a lot of limiting beliefs, like I don't have time for this, or it's always in a rush, or trying to cram it in. Can I rewire that with, like, I have all the time in the world for the things that matter. The things that I'm doing, the things that are on my schedule are things I've chosen. There are things I've opted into. There's things I've said yes to, and reminding myself, oh, this is actually fun. Okay, can I just release all this stress and the pent up energy? And can I just surrender and be in the moment, be more present, have more joy, remember what this is all about? And that usually can bring me back. The last thing I will say is being proactive around scheduling things that you love. and things that help you and things that are life-giving for you. Schedule those things first, even before you're adding extra social stuff or extra commitments. Schedule in your workouts. Schedule margin in your calendar so you're not doing something every single night, back to back, and then you feel exhausted, overwhelmed, stressed out, like you don't have enough time. Like leave room for margin in your life, especially if you have kids, and especially if you have young kids. Sensing the energy of the family, sensing the energy of what people need. Is it too much? Do we need a chill night? Do we need to pull back? Just keeping a pulse on what's going on. But first, scheduling in the things that you know will always bring you back to yourself, will always remind you like to take care of yourself, remind you to get good sleep at night. And what ways are you behaving from dinner time up until bedtime that are either helping that sleep or making it harder to sleep? So just the things that you love that are grounding, put those in first. And then everything else can fill in around that, leaving a little bit of extra margin, probably more than you think that you might need, because even if it's not you, maybe it's somebody else in your family that needs a little extra chill time, wiggle time, time to just decompress. It is winter, and winter is a time to rest, to be sleeping more, to be doing more quiet things like reading, writing, journaling, art, creativity, cooking, painting. It's a time for those activities. And there's a reason why it gets dark early. It's to help us hibernate. But the holidays can be the antithesis of that. And then it's like January, we spend all January trying to recoup from the holidays. So just bringing a little bit more balance into it. Like, yes, it is winter. It is dark early. There's a reason for that. Like our bodies need rest and rejuvenation even more this time of year. Some of you who are super extroverted are going to be like, it's so life-giving and so energy-giving to be out and doing stuff every single day, every single night. But just knowing yourself well, most of all. And with anything that I say, knowing yourself is more important than anything I'm saying. Okay, I lied because I have one more thing, and that is checking in on your own energy. And I think that this is something that if you are an empath or you feel like you are someone who senses other people's emotions or you pick up on feelings, when things happen to other people, it feels like it's happening to you. Like this happens to me in scary movies or when I hear something devastating or really sad news from a friend, I feel in my body those emotions like it's happening to me. And it took me most of my adult life to figure out that this is actually called being an empath. I thought it meant very sensitive and very soft. Sometimes it's just that you actually are picking up on other people's stuff and being aware that when you go into situations, when there's more social events or parties or things happening, that sometimes we need a little bit more of energetic protection. And I'm speaking to those of you who feel this way, that you are empaths. There's a scale even of empaths where you feel that you might need a little extra padding where you can't be touched. Like nothing people say to you can deeply affect you, trigger you. Almost imagining this golden white light around you and that you have protection, that your energy is not going to get leaked out. It's not going to get sucked away. It's like you become a little bit more untouchable. And I think in a time of year when there's situations and things going on where you might have to be around people that typically maybe you wouldn't choose to. And so just taking a minute, I think even before you go into social situations, coming up with some type of plan for yourself, whether that's sitting in the car for an extra minute or two before you go in, or if you have to take breaks when you're with family, like take those breaks, gather yourself, fortify yourself with nourishment, with whatever you need, with a different mindset, with changing your own energy. We are in charge of those things. We can't control other people, what they say, what they do, but we can control whether or not it affects us. And so I think it's helpful this time of year to be aware of that and be aware of what you need and the way that you operate best, the way your nervous system runs, the way you have a tendency to take on things, others, or feel things, you're picking up on their energy, which is a wild thing, but very much happens. Then after those events, I find, this is going to sound so silly to some of you, but like when I come home from a bigger social night, and I'm an extroverted introvert, like I really do like both. I do recharge in both ways, but when I come home from social stuff, because I am an empath, I find that I always need to take a shower to clear the energy and to clear things off of me before I can go to sleep. And that's something that's going to sound wild to some of you, and some of you may totally get it, but almost that reset of my nervous system, which water is a great reset, a bath or a shower, a dive in the ocean, a dive in a pool. Water changes our state pretty rapidly. And I just like that idea of cleansing off others' stuff, other people's things, cleansing my mind just so that I can calm down, go read my book, bring my nervous system back into check, into a place where I can fall asleep. So all that being said, I think overall, the most helpful thing is just being aware of your mentality this time of year and being careful of being like, screw it all. I'm just going to do and eat and drink whatever I want. I'm going to live it up. I'm going to go hard. And it's like you enter the year feeling horrible. And that's where you get all of the New Year's resolutions and this, and we're finally going to get back on track and get healthy again and show up for ourselves and make goals. And we're going to dream big. And it's too much. And it's too much of a gap between those two things versus like, can you gently, kindly, slowly, deeply show up for yourself? Can you do it in small ways that you feel who you are being when you do those things? It's not about the things themselves, it's who you're being. It's what identity you want to have. It's the person that you want to show up as. Those things I find are the most important, especially when we're talking about this context of wanting to be healthier, wanting to be more intentional, wanting to be somebody who can show up with really good energy and really good vitality. So I just want to leave you with thinking about that as we go through the rest of this month. Our body is so connected to our thoughts, which is so connected to our emotions and our nervous system. And that creates our hormonal response and our adrenaline. And it's so, so deeply connected. And so the holidays are really about changing your mentality, changing your mindset, and catching yourself in some old beliefs, old patterns, old stories. Like this is such a great time of year to be practicing and tweaking and just having an attitude of like, I'm going to do what I can each day and have that be perfectly enough. I hope that this episode helps you and maybe reframe some things, gives you some encouragement. If it does, I would love to know. Come over and find me at Simply Real Health on Instagram. And I hope that you have honestly the most magical and deeply intentional and joyful season, because that's really what it's all about. I love you so much, and we'll see you back here soon.
If you enjoyed this episode and want more like it, make sure you're subscribed to the Simply Real Life podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, and maybe share it with a friend or two. That would mean the world.